Okay, so good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today in this session on healthcare recruitment. Now, just to let you know, during my previous sessions, which I've always been taking on regarding the healthcare recruitment processes, I've always been sharing my screen and I've been showing you all the documents which are available on our drive for reference purpose, like any now, for example, now in medical recruitment or healthcare recruitment, we have different sub verticals. Like, for example, we recruit not only carers, but we also recruit nurses, we recruit doctors, we recruit physiotherapists, occupational therapists, and a whole lot of allied healthcare professionals. So first of all, I'll share my screen and I'll once again to take you briefly through what our recruitment process is like and how do we go about it, what are the references that we have. So to begin with, once again, healthcare recruitment is just the same like any other healthcare, any other recruitment at RSR Global. We once the candidate comes in with his or her updated CV and documents, they are verified for that particular job role. If we find that the candidate is eligible for that particular job role he or she has applied for, that is when we book the candidates for one-to-one screening for 15 minutes meeting with that candidate to understand more about them and also about the requirements and their the caliber of the candidates. Once we have done the screening on one-to-one and we understand that's done by the experts on the panel, and once that is done and they find that the candidate is good to be taken for the next round, that is when these candidates are registered by the respective offices on the RSR Global ATS, that is the applicant tracking system, and the candidates log in, they're uploading their documents over there, they fill in their profiles, and everything is completed on the ATS. Once that is done, the candidates are, time to time, they have been provided with training materials and training purpose. They are trained so that they are fit for the final rounds. Once suitable jobs come in, which we see that which profile will be suited for that particular job role. The candidates whose profiles are good for that particular job role are then tagged to that particular job. Once these candidates' profiles are tagged, these profiles are available for the recruiters to see. Now, once the recruiters have the access to the ATS and they go through the entire database of the candidates who are tagged, then they select the candidates for the final rounds or for the interviews as per their requirements or preferences. Now, these particular candidates who are then tagged are selected by the recruiters, and then they are trained finally for the final round with the employer or the recruiter. Now, these employers or the recruiters, they will do the actual final interview. Once the final interview is done, then these candidates are shortlisted for the jobs. Whichever candidate is successful, they are offered the offer letter, and the COS comes across. The documentation process has to be completed, and the candidates fly off to their job destination. So this was in brief about the healthcare recruitment process or the interview process that we have at RSR Global in brief. This is just like any other vertical. Now, what are the verticals? Once again, what are the verticals sub-verticals that we recruit candidates for? I have these process documents here, so I'll be sharing with you. These process documents are also available on the RSR Global Google Drive. Okay. Now you can see the whole lot of documents are here. Any sub-vertical that you need to recruit your particular candidates to, and you are not sure as to how to go about it, just open these documents and you will find all the information that is required. For example, we have now a guide to working for Indian doctors in the UK. We have guide for healthcare professionals. We have dental recruitment. We have midwifery. We have healthcare assistants, pharmacists, nurses. There are a whole lot of documents for nurses, psychologists, and many others. We also have the NMC registration process, what it is like. The nurses who have to be working in the UK for the nursing job have to be registered with the NMC. So what is the NMC registration process? What is it like? So we have all these documents here. So if you are getting your candidates for a particular job role, say for a nursing job, to have a clarity as to what is the eligibility criteria, what are the requirements, what are the parameters on which basis they have to be selected. You just need to go and open these documents and find the entire information available on that, and accordingly you can start working on your candidates. So for example, now I have opened this one particular document. If you can see, nursing in the United Kingdom, you have the whole lot of eligibility criteria, the English proficiency test or the examinations that are required from their end, the different options that they can have in English proficiency, that is the IELTS or the OET, what is the band score that is required, what are the band nurses that are also working in the UK, like we have band 1, 2, 3, 4. For the nurses, we start with band 5 in the UK, band 5 and above. Okay, so you'll have the whole lot of information also with the cost and the links to the various information that would be required by the candidates. This can also be shared with your candidates if you want, but this is exclusively for your study purpose. So if you have any doubts, you can always come back to these documents, refer to them, and of course we are always there to help you. Apart from that, if you have any questions. So now this was okay. You can always go to the drive and refer to these documents. We also have this HCPC registration guidance to how the applicants can be registered with the HCPC. Now HCPC registration is a mandatory process for allied healthcare professionals like physiotherapists, occupational therapists, okay, the allied healthcare professionals. So all this comes under the heading of HCPC registration. So these candidates who want to be practicing their particular profession in the UK, they must be registered with the particular councils. For example, now doctors. Now currently we are recruiting doctors. The junior doctors that we have on board are basically these doctors. The main eligibility criteria is that, of course, apart from being doctors, they must also be registered with the GMC. The GMC, that is the General Medical Council of the UK. Now, I'll just elaborate a little more on what the GMC is, because some officers have come back to me asking, saying that we don't have we are confused as to what kind of doctors we want for this particular job role, which is right now live. So for this job, doctors with at least 1 to 2 years working experience, and experience ideally in mental health or psychiatry would be preferred, but that's not mandatory. Okay. Another important criteria is that they need to be completely registered with the GMC. What do you mean by completely registered with the GMC? Completely registered with the GMC means they should have given their PLAB 1 and PLAB 2 examinations and cleared them. Okay, PLAB 1, PLAB. PLAB 1 exam is given in their own home country online. Okay, once they have cleared their exam, they have to go to the UK for PLAB 2. Okay, so all these doctors who already have their GMC registration and are applying for a job have been to the UK and have given their PLAB 2, they have cleared their PLAB 2, and they have gotten their GMC registration number. The GMC registration number is a must. Okay, that number shows that yes, this doctor is particularly GMC registered and is qualified to apply for a job to be practicing as a doctor in the UK. Okay, so the candidates who are eligible for this particular junior doctor role are these candidates. They have to be GMC registered. At the same time, they have to have at least 1 to 2 years working experience. So this is about the junior doctors which we are working on currently. The another job role that is again gone live is for mental health nurses. Now, what mental health nurses do we want? What is the eligibility criteria? The eligibility criteria for mental health nurses, again, that they should be registered mental health nurses. Ideally, they should have a formal training in mental health. Okay, either a diploma or a bachelor's degree in nursing. Okay, because these nursing colleges, you also have general registered nursing course. You also have mental health nursing. diploma course. So these candidates should have that. They should have, even if not they could have been general registered nurses, but they can also have some kind of a certification to show that they have been trained in mental health nurse, or they have been trained in psychiatry to be able to work as proper nurses in the psychiatry or the mental health department. Okay, so this is the other eligibility criteria for these nurses, apart from also being NMC registered. Now for nurses, what is the NMC registration criteria? The NMC registration criteria for the nurses is that they should have given the CBT, computer-based test, in their own home country, and they should have passed that. Okay, so they should have the past results for the CBT. Apart from that, they must have an IELTS or an OET band of B, and IELTS an overall score of 7. Only nurses with an overall score of band 7 with a minimum of 6.5 only in writing. A minimum band of 6.5 is allowed only in the writing for nurses. The rest, all they must have band 7 and above. These nurses with CBT and an IELTS score of 7 are eligible to be applying for a nursing job in the UK. Okay, so right now, this current job that we have for mental health nurses, we are looking for these kind of nurses who have either a formal or a certificate training in mental health, apart from being registered general nurses with at least 1 to 2 years working experience. Apart from that, they must have cleared their CBT exam, and they should be awaiting their OSCE exam, which is to be given in the UK. Now, OSCE exam, now you'll be wondering, like, this is just halfway NMC registered. They have not as yet given the OSCE examination. But for nurses, it is they have this leverage, or they have this liberty that, once they have given their CBT exams, they have cleared their CBT exams, they have their IELTS or their OET in place with the required band score, these candidates are eligible to apply for the nursing job in the UK. Once they are shortlisted and they go for the job, like once they get the job and they go for the job in the UK, whichever organization that they are working for, they help them or they assist them to give their OSCE over there. So the OSCE exam, which OSCE that is called, which is to be given once they have been there for certain period of time. Ideally, the exam is to be given within a month's time. They are also trained for that. They give, I think they get a 15-day training or something. They get on-the-job training, and then they can give that OSCE examination there in the UK, clear that exam, get their registration PIN. Just like any other healthcare professionals, nurses also have to get a registration number. Once they clear the OSCE examination, they get that registration number automatically. And once they get the registration number...
Sorry for interruption. What is OSCE exam? What is OSCE exam?
OSCE, that is the short form. Overseas, I'll just go through that. We call it the OSCE. I'll share my screen and I'll show you in case. Just give me 1 minute. These are 2 exams which the nursing candidates need to give.
OSCE and NMC, right?
CBT. The CBT. Can you all see this?
Yeah.
Are you all able to see this? Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is a PowerPoint presentation. See, they're holding a diploma degree, then 1 year work experience relevant, meet OET or IELTS requirements. Okay, this is also given. They have to here. Once complete, you will receive, they have to send their documents to see if they're eligible to be sitting for the CBT examination. This is the computer-based test. Okay, with the NMC, once that is done, they will forward their CBT, of course, the CV and everything. Then they can apply for the job. Once they are there, okay. Now this is the whole lot of information about the CBT. What is the CBT? The documents that are required for that. Okay. This is the interview process. Yes. Once they are there, Okay, once they have been placed successfully in the hospital, you will be provided with an OSCE training program by the trust. So whichever organization that you're working with, you will be helped, or they will assist you to sit for the OSCE exam. Okay, that exam you have to give, the nurses have to give, and they have to clear that exam. Once they have cleared that exam, they get automatically a band 5. They can work as a band 5 nurse. Here it is given that you get a pin from the NMC to work as a band 5 nurse. And once you are like a band 5 nurse, you can progress upwards from there. Okay, so
Okay,
this is
can you show me the this previous one?
here, this one.
Yeah, this one. So he mentioned that OSCE training program by the trust. Like when they get the opportunity in UK, that hospital will arrange all the test expenses, or like what?
Yes, the first I think the first year it is given. This exam costs £794. This is an approximate amount. It is like, it can change. Will be reimbursed by the trust for 2 attempts. The third and the last attempt has to be paid by the candidates themselves. So you have all this information in this document. You just need to go through, and you'll get all the entire, even the cost and everything is given over here. There is one document in which there is also a cost breakup. So you'll find that. So currently now, since we have these 2 job roles, like, we have these 2 jobs live. So in fact, all of you all can make the best of it. You all can tag your candidates, or can get your candidates accordingly, and get them screened and work on them. I think that's all from my side for now. So if you all have any questions, I'll be happy to take those for now.